Welcome in. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome in once again to the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. We are here Fridays every 5:30 talking wrestling, anything wrestling. I, as always, am your virtual bartender, Mr. Nick Teodoro. Joining me, as always, is my wife, my lovely tag team partner, Miss Nicole. Nicole, what are you drinking?
I am drinking my signature Tito's cranberry and orange juice. What about you, Mr. Nick?
A little J. Lore out of an industrial-sized bottle.
I know, we went a little big. Go big or go home, right, guys?
Exactly. Well, first, before we get started, if you're new here, welcome in. We love having you. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and join us to become a regular. We love having you. We want to hear you in the conversation. So, Nicole, it's been a week. A lot's gone on.
It's been a week.
We are one night, well, not even a night away. Well, I guess a night away.
12 hours.
12 hours, less than 12 hours away, right? Yeah, no, exactly 12 hours.
Pre-show's 4 a.m. our time. Main is 5 a.m. our time.
So we are, we're less than 12 hours away. So less than 12 hours away from Elimination Chamber 2024. So we have the men's match, we have the women's match, we have a tag match on the card. We do have a Rhea Ripley match on the card.
Well, there's 2 tag matches. Obviously it is the Judgment Day versus Tyler Bate and Peter Dune. And they also just announced they're having a women's tag match, and it's Kairi and Asuka, the Kabuki Warriors, versus Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. So it's nice that Indy is also Australian-born to get some love in her home country. And then, of course, you got Rhea defending against Nia Jax.
Yeah, so a pretty decent card for what's known to be I hate to use the transitional pay-per-view in between WrestleMania and Royal Rumble.
Pit stop. It's a stop on the road to WrestleMania. Vroom, vroom.
But yes, a very exciting card. Over the last week since we last spoke with you all, the chamber has been decided both on the men's and women's side. Because we here in the Nick Club, we love the ladies. We want to give them appreciation, and we're going to start with ladies first. So,
as it should be. So, finalizing the women's chamber, we got Liv Morgan coming back. So honestly, a shock to me. Raquel Rodriguez came out in that last chance battle royal or match thingy, whatever they had on Raw. I know she was out with like a medical kind of issue. Not serious, but something. So I was surprised to see her come back. I'm glad she won. I think it's good to have like another big dominant monster in the Elimination Chamber. Again, Naomi's first pay-per-view back. Again, you got the man, EST, and the new call-up from NXT, Tiffy Stratz.
So you mentioned Raquel. She won the Battle Royal on Raw.
Yep.
And I mentioned her a couple weeks back as a potential name that might join in that whole Dakota Kai, Bailey damage control storyline. So interesting now that she returns. I think she'll have a nice showing in the match. In terms of the match itself, so we saw Naomi gain entrance, right? Which was kind of, I feel like, anticipated. You called that last week.
Well, also the matches were kind of flip-flopped. Whoever fought, like, it was supposed to be Tiffy and whoever, and then it's supposed to be, it was Lena and Tiffy, but then got switched because Shotzi got hurt on NXT. So when I said on Friday, the matches were flip-flopped, and when I watched that night, I was like, oh. But anyway, who we thought was going to be in the chamber, basically. I guess except Raquel, I thought it was going to be Shayna Baszler, but happy to see her back. I think she's going to do great in the chamber, but obviously I don't think she's going to win it. So
what's interesting, I liked, at least in terms of hype, like we're talking about the 2 main contenders being Becky and I think Liv Morgan over Bianca, because I think Bianca is going to do something with Jade at Mania. I really think Bianca and Jade are going to have some sort of moment leading into WrestleMania or at WrestleMania. But I thought it was just kind of cool. I like Tiffany Stratton promo just on Naomi and just about how she left to try and make a name for herself, and she still didn't do anything. So I'm excited to see what she'll be able to show in this type of match. Again, first for a lot. I feel like a lot of these women, their first big moment on a big stage here. So
also, I literally just rewatched the press conference before coming down here to record this. And when they did the segment again about the Elimination Chamber, first Bianca came out, of course, and then Tiffy Stratton came out and like talked, and then like Becky came out, and then Tiffy called Becky was a has-been, and then like basically laughed. And it's she reminds me such that kind of like divas attitude era that I can't stand, like that obnoxious like blonde like heel, but then she backs it up, like, so it's so different because she can actually wrestle, and I think like she's gonna look pretty good. And again, I love her moonsault. I just kind of how I'm very critical about women's wrestling, but it makes me think of like, oh, her character is like, well, I'm supposed to not like her, like, so she's being a good heel, but then she's a great wrestler, so she has like kind of like like kind of diva stuff, but also she can back her shit up, which I appreciate. But then after like Tiffy kind of threw her mic down and stormed off, and then Becky and Bianca went nose to nose, and Becky was like, "Oh well, I respect you. Like we've been friends, we've been enemies, but I have to beat you." And then Bianca kind of said the same thing, like we've been friends, we've been enemies, but now we're competitors. And like I'm gonna have to beat you because her catchphrase like WrestleMania. You can't spell WrestleMania without the EST.
I'm interested to see. I think Bianca. I mean, she's gonna have some sort of, especially if and given what I said earlier with her and Jade, I think she's gonna have some sort of moment. Power move. Slam type moment going into this. And I think she'll look. The question I think would be interesting is who gets more eliminations, her or Raquel? Because you have two powerhouse women in there. Raquel just coming back off of injury could use some sort of momentum and a push. And Bianca's about to head into what I think is going to be that match with Jade. So, and any momentum for
honestly, I feel like this is as much as I kind of think it's a lock, Becky, but also there's so much kind of intrigue. Like the stuff with like Liv Morgan, and she's the last person to beat Rhea. They were in a tag team together. And like kayfabe, like that's why Liv was out for so long, because Rhea messed up her arm. And I wonder if there's some way that they would do a triple threat at Mania, like Becky, Rhea, Liv.
I think it's a possibility, but I don't know. I mean,
but like I don't know. Like I guess kind of feel bad. Like is Naomi coming in to take a pin? Like Raquel's coming in to take a pin. Obviously, Tiffy's gonna like.
Well, yeah. Like who gives like Tiffany Stratton? It's her second actual match.
Like,
well,
first
Rumble
pay-per-view on main.
So yeah, so you have Raquel Rodriguez coming back.
Naomi coming back.
Yeah, Naomi, his first pay-per-view back. So those are three. Becky Lynch, who potentially wants, just cut a promo saying that she wants to challenge Rhea. So yeah, someone's gonna lose a lot of momentum in this, and
right. That's why I worry about, because like I want Naomi to be good. Like she just came back, and I think she had a great run in TNA. Like I don't want her to just take a fall. Like again, Raquel just came back. Again, her surprise not re-debut, but we're like back and just on Raw. And then like Tiffy's your up and comer. Like there's so many like I think this is really why they didn't want Jade in this match. They pulled her from this match because it's like it's hard as who's going to take the pin, and like. Could you, and I think maybe that's how you eliminate Liv Morgan, like she did, like I said last week, what she did with Ronda, that you tap out, you kind of pass out, and she had that smile on her face. Like, I think I would like to see more submissions and like people having like no choice, because like I'm pretty sure there's no rope breaks, obviously, in the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, there isn't.
So it's like, I'd rather have more of that than. Unless there's just like you do a lot of like roll-ups, which is getting old at this point, but I don't know. How do you?
That would be lazy.
Agreed. Okay. So it's like keeping like, because again, these are kind of your up and coming, established, like your middle people. Like I hope everyone kind of looks good and has their spots, and it's not like chintzy kind of
Yeah, like could
eliminations.
could Raquel do some power or Bianca do some power move to like a two-person slam and then, be so, sorry the pun, but jaded, but like beat down and exhausted from the move that they get not rolled up. We don't want to roll up, but someone's finisher just eats a kick to the face.
Yeah, or it's like one of those things where like they do this big power move and then like say Tippy, like the heel, like would throw them out the ring and like then pin the person that they did the big move to. Like you've seen that. Like I'd rather maybe that a little bit more than like a roll up.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Well, what do you all think? We want to hear from everybody, so let us know in the comments. Phone lines are open.
I don't know. I think it'll be a good match. Like I like with the Royal Rumble match. Like I hope this opens unless the men's open because I think we talked about this. Probably not going to happen. But like if Rhea would be main, then I'm sorry, she's beating Nia.
No,
Or do you think men's chamber?
What is she called? The irresistible? Not the irresistible. Is it irresistible force? No, she's gonna squash her. That's what's gonna happen. Bold take.
Oh god.
Nia Jax goes to WrestleMania after her dominance on Raw of the women's division. Nia Jax goes on to WrestleMania to squash the competition.
I don't want to watch a sloppy slop at 6 a.m. Sorry, I don't. So I hope. Again, at the end of the press conference, it was. So it makes me wonder if they are going to be meeting because the end of the press conference was Nia and Rhea. And of course, they're squabbling at each other. And then she's like, oh, let's go right now. And then Rhea said to the crowd, like, oh, she wants to see a riptide. And she had like a Prime bottle in her hand. And she threw it in Nia's face. And she's like, splash, splash, bitch. And then Triple H came out. I was like, oh, let me stop. And then her and Grayson Waller did a shoey, which I think is very gross. I'm
interested to, well, I guess we've kind of seen it already. Like they started doing the press conference the last couple of years, but now that the UFC, that Endeavor, like owns it, like that whole element, it's just like we saw it on Raw. I forget the guy's name. The UFC fighter now.
Chandler, somebody.
Issuing the challenge.
Awkward, but...
Yeah, but you're seeing all the crossover, so. It's just it's another element, like the whole UFC Dana White, like the promotional aspect, like them and WWE had always been the two best tickets in terms of promotion and things like that. So I digress.
I could say something controversial because also when AEW came out,
please do.
TK was doing press conferences, and then all of a sudden I feel like
let's not dive into Tony Khan right now.
I'm just saying I don't necessarily think the TKO UFC merger Endeavor blah 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 is the impetus of the sole reason they're doing press conferences now.
No.
Just throw that. Or we disagree. I know.
Unbelievable.
I do love AEW, and we haven't really talked about it on here, but I digress.
We do welcome AEW questions, thoughts to the show. Generally, we try to incorporate.
It's not going to happen with this pay-per-view, but I'm hoping next was it double or nothing in May?
We can.
We'll maybe do more AEW focused.
Yeah, so we want to get into that.
Yeah,
stuff.
Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do anything for Revolution, but maybe post Revolution we can talk maybe fallouts.
Exactly. So,
like that, but I digress.
Well. Which actually, you bring up a good point. We are off next week. We are having a double shot this week. We have the show tonight, happy hour. We are doing a hangover show, let's just call it, tomorrow for Elimination Chamber recap to get all your thoughts on what went down. So that is going down tomorrow at noon. So noon Eastern time. So for anyone there who is not on Eastern time. But moving on, Elimination Chamber, the other main match for the evening is going to be the men's chamber. So the men's chamber has filled itself out to being Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, Randy Orton. You like to say, what's his name? How do you say it? Drew McIntyre.
Sorry, don't want to,
Logan Paul and L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
So again, the winner will go on. Actually, I didn't say this yet, but the winner will go on to face. In a challenge, presumably Seth Rollins.
They're saying Seth. He's saying he's cleared for Mania. And I think that's why he doesn't have a match at Chamber. They're doing the Grayson Waller effect with him and Cody. That's going to obviously have many implications, but he said he's ready to go, and I guess we'll talk about more when we get to Mania, but I definitely think whoever wins this match will go against Seth. I'm thinking night 2 of Mania.
So Seth might pull double duty even on an injured knee. So we'll see. So going in, here's our 6 participants. Personally, I have my thoughts. We know the last couple of weeks, the momentum, and some of our callers have called in to say the same thing that has been Drew McIntyre. He's had the most momentum going in. Again, we talked about this in previous weeks. Still love what he's doing with all his Twitter stuff, with the graveyard stuff. He actually extended it out to Cody Rhodes recently with the whole Rock stuff, which I love. So I raise the question to you, Nikki. Who is your favorite? Who is your pick for men's Elimination Chamber?
So I think, instead of Drew McIntyre, he's now calling himself DM Hunk, which I'm here for. I think it's true. I think the promos that he's been cutting on Seth, I think he's the one to take, as much as everyone knows I love Seth Rollins. I think Drew's the one to take it off him. I think it's ready for kind of a heel run, and I'm really loving this heely run from him. And I think maybe besides Bobby Lashley, I think, honestly, at the press conference, KO and Logan Paul and Randy had a thing, and again, I can't say Logan Paul, but watching him at the press conference, you're like, oh yeah, no, I'm supposed to not like you. He plays the heel thing up. And then him and KO got into a pushy match, and they held out to separate them. But I honestly think there's going to be bigger implications. I think it's going to be KO, Logan, LA Knight for the U.S. belt at Mania. I don't know really where Bobby and Randy lie. I think Bobby can take a pin at this point. I think he's super over, but he's in a program with Karrion Kross, which is not going anywhere, and his stable's not really doing anything. So I think it's going to be Drew winning. The other 3 is going to have their side story for the U.S. belt, and then Randy's Randy. You could slot him anywhere.
Interesting.
But my winner, Drew.
Fair point. I could totally see, crazy as it sounds, Logan Paul winning and try and go into WrestleMania to be a double champion, because he's such, as much as I hate him, the whole social media aspect of it, he is so over regardless that it would be something interesting to see him and Seth at Mania, and how red hot he's been as a heel. It would be interesting to see.
Wasn't the Mania? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but wasn't that the Mania match this year? Was the 2 of them, and KSI was in the Prime bottle thing?
Was it Seth?
Again, correct me in the comments down below, but I'm pretty sure that was the Mania match.
I would run it back then if that's the case. I can't remember. Now I'm blanking on this.
Should I be bad and Google when we're?
Oh yeah, we're gonna Google this. Someone needs to fact check us. But it would, honestly, you can't tell me the match wouldn't be great. He's the most, out of everyone in this match, aside from LA Knight, which you could argue, and I'm throwing this out there, I will stand by that he is more over as a heel than LA Knight. Challenge me, come at me. But if you're talking about pop,
are you saying LA Knight is a heel and Logan as a heel? Because you just said he's more over as a heel.
He's more over as a heel than LA Knight is, period, as a face right now.
I think that's 2 different things.
No, I think he gets more of a reaction as a heel than LA Knight gets as a face.
I don't agree with that remotely. I think he gets LA Knight gets a huge flip and pop every night. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not saying they don't get a pop. I'm saying that the pop for Logan Paul as a heel, the hatred for Logan Paul as a heel is more of a reaction than LA Knight gets. I'm calling that right now. Challenge me.
A liar in the comment section down below.
Come at me.
He reaction because he's I don't think it's bigger than LA Knight.
LA Knight's got the slogan, and everyone does it. But the reaction consistently, I would say, Logan Paul as a heel gets booed.
I will also throw this out to you, but people saying it's easier to get booed as a heel because you can just say some shit about the town and be like, "Oh, the Penguins suck," and you're like, "Wow." When to legit come out and get cheered as a face, I think it's harder. It's easier for me to hate you because you say one thing about my town or about my mom, or you say something for them me to like legit want to cheer you and want you to win. I think that's two different things. And I think a lot of people say they love being heels because it's easier. I think it's harder to be like, you want to be like interesting. You want to be this like bland white meat baby face, blah blah blah. But I think
that's another question. Now I raised that. Is it easier as a fan? Do you feel it's easier to be a heel or a face in today's wrestling? If you want to
get that cheap heat, like you're just gonna diss the town. Like again, if you watch the press conference, like Logan Paul just shit on Perth. He's like, "Oh, we're in the middle of nowhere. Like, why are we here? Like Perth, why are we not in Sydney with Taylor Swift? Blah blah blah." Like, it's easier to say crap, but you can legit come out and get people to cheer for you when you're...
No, you can do the same thing with the hometown. Oh, the LA Lakers. You could, I love the Lakers. People do that stuff all the time.
I don't know. Mick Foley did it for years. I don't know. Maybe... I don't think I'm wrong here, but...
Yeah, Mick Foley did do the cheap pop for years. That's how he made half.
I know.
Aside from obviously all I almost said chamber, the Hell in the like all the spots that he had and the comic relief that he did, but I think
it's different in the Attitude Era '90s than it is right now. I think.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a whole. But
I don't know. Tell Nick he's wrong in the comments down below,
or just acknowledge me that I'm right,
because everyone he's not your tribal chief.
But regardless,
who do you have winning?
So, my head says with all the momentum that it's probably going to be Drew.
But you want to see the world burn and have it be Logan.
I'm saying, again, it would be interesting to, I mean, what do you, we love, all right, I'm an LA Knight fan, right? I think we're all LA Knight fans, but I don't want to see him go and win the U.S. belt at WrestleMania. That doesn't do anything for me either. It's the same classic booking WWE always does with these guys that, they did it to Rollins for all these years. They did it for Punk, where they're like, all right, you're great, and really you should be in the main event, but we're going to throw you in the mid-card title. Remember, later in his career, Daniel Bryan, they started running him up as the Intercontinental Champion. I hate that they do that. Or Mox when he was Dean Ambrose and WWE. These guys should have had the push for the main event belt at the time, and they're like, all right, well, we'll just stack up the card and put you in the mid card. So now that's where you're at. And it's just, you want to talk about devaluing titles. That's a great way to devalue it. It becomes a second place prize for everybody else. And I don't know. It would be interesting to do that. I mean, he is one of the most over champs. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, then would you rather have KO take the belt off him? Think you could say the same about KO. He should be off of Logan. I guess we can talk about this when we get to Mania predictions, but I think LA Knight, again, older but still a newer person to the roster than KO. But KO was also in that thing where remember they had him when him and the Jericho stuff that should have been for the main belt with the United States, and you would say the same thing about KO. Then do you pick another somewhere out of nowhere up in Ricochet's gonna take the belt off him? I don't.
Well, it's U.S. belt, so Braun Breaker's out, right? In theory.
Could be. Well, people are saying Braun Gunther.
Steven's got a comment on this real quick. Logan Paul doesn't get booed for what he does in wrestling. He gets booed for what he does every place else.
Thank you.
I don't think it matters. I think the heat you get. Anyway, there's people. How many people come in that not that he was great, Jon Stewart, all these people that people love, and they just get booed regardless. so I don't know. I think some people just get over, and he knows the business. He knows how to play the audience. He did it on YouTube or whatever.
He gets the reaction you want to boo him because he's try not to curse on this podcast so much, but you know what? But I don't think he's winning. I don't want to see him and Seth running back at Mania back-to-back Manias.
But I don't know. Overall, I think eventually it's going to probably be Drew. Just my heart said. Well, my heart doesn't really say Logan Paul per se. I think the momentum, it would be a shocking twist, and I think that again he's more over than the others. I would like Logan Paul or even an LA Knight to be the one to win it. Don't see it agree with you on the Lashley, that storyline. I hope that something comes with that. I think maybe a street fight at WrestleMania will probably come with that because I have so much. I love the AOP, and I just feel like they always get screwed over in some form or another. And KO's a great wrestler, but he's just there, in my opinion.
You just saw him come anywhere.
So we move on to just the other big topic, and we led with this last week with all the Rock replacing Cody and all that stuff. And now, last Friday, after we shut down Happy Hour, Rock came out at the end of SmackDown. His big announcement with Roman was basically that he's in the bloodline. Which I thought we all kind of knew already, but I mean, I guess so. So he comes out, claims he's in the bloodline, and basically claim he's going to do everything in his power to screw over Cody Rhodes and make sure, his life's living hell, whatever. But what's interesting is if you really reevaluate.
Let's put our tinfoil hats on, kids. Let's do some conspiracy theory talk. If you look when he runs down saying that he's going to make sure, again, in the kind of how Ascension structure works, like the sentence before, you think he's talking about Cody, and then when he actually delivers the line, I'm going to make sure you walk out a loser, he's looking right at Roman. He's pointing at Roman. But like Roman's like looking like away. So there's that, and the photo that you have right now, he's not doing the full one. People are saying he's doing an L.
Right.
And also kind of what Cody does, if you look when he won both Royal Rumbles, he does the Bullet Club gun. So people are also speculating he's doing like this for Cody, like, I got you. So
what's interesting,
tinfoil hats, kids.
So what's interesting about this whole conspiracy theory, if you will, is that, and if you look back to the press conference, it's like, I know, like, and maybe, and this kind of goes back to my point about the press conferences that we were talking about with like the UFC influence now, if never, is like, yeah, in like a UFC fight, you do see people slap each other, whatever. But The Rock in a WWE promo, there's usually a move or a hard punch thrown. The Rock's punch or slap, it was like I even in our video I put Rock slaps Cody because it was a slap. It was like a bitch slap. It was an absolute bitch slap. So, but it was just like it had a weird feel to it, almost like a not a friendly, but like, I don't want to say friendly vibe, but a kind of a friendly.
That he's acting because he's an actor, and then people are also speculating like in that SmackDown where before the press conference when Cody was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take everything from you, but not at Mania," and then like him and The Rock have this awkward hug that like Rock whispers something to him. They're like, "Oh, what does he say?" They're saying like, "Oh, we're gonna have this like hold on, like we're gonna do something." People are speculating that he's said something, a code word, or said something to him then to like that he's gonna help him win, which I really don't like.
Well,
remotely. But.
What's interesting is a couple weeks ago we talked about the same. We grew up Attitude Era fans, and this had this vibe, and I said this a couple weeks ago, of that whole DX Mike Tyson joining up with them for like the hot minute. Where really, I don't even remember Mike. I think Mike Tyson was on the air like twice that we actually saw him and there was always like vignettes of him partying with DX and whatever. And like
they had the moment where HBK ripped off his shirt and he had the DX shirt on.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about like even like after that, after he joined DX, he was like in DX, but he was like showed up like once or twice on like a few vignettes and stuff. But I've said this a bazillion times. I will say it a bazillion more times going into media. I don't want Cody to win because of wonky interference things. I want him to win clean, and I'm very worried he's not going to win clean because the Justy finish is named after his dad. Like, well, but here's the thing. Like, how many times have we seen Solo pull somebody out, give him the spike, happen on Raw?
But no,
but what I think could should and will happen is, I think in some ways, like, we're seeing it now where, Jimmy and Jay are going to have their feud, right, on Raw after everything that's gone on. The odds are starting to even. So is Seth enough to overtake who's left? Or is Rock the extra 2-on-2? Is The Rock going to be the person who gives a rock bottom to Solo, or, because Seth Rollins isn't there, or whatever it is, like that backup to even the odds, he could be the person to do that and make that, give the rock bottom to Solo, or I don't know, just hits Paul Heyman, something along those lines.
Well, actually, you saying that would be interesting if Solo tries to interfere and Rock stops. Like, no, he's a tribal chief. He has to do this on his own.
Right.
And then Roman can't do it on his own, and then he does lose the belt. Like, I'd be okay with that. Like, Rock stopping an interference, not interfering himself. But we will get there.
He's the great one.
I know, they were saying his, little Versace vest thing is the callback to the heel Rock when he came back after Scorpion King. Which, rewatching that movie, it's like, you thought you were so great after that movie again. But,
yeah, I like that movie. I don't know. I didn't think it was a terrible movie.
Well, Mummy 2 is great. Scorpion King itself.
Let us know in the comments below. What's your favorite Rock movie?
What's your Mummy 1, Mummy 2?
No, he's not in Mummy 1.
Yeah, but Brendan Fraser is.
So, we're talking about Rock movies.
Was it the Tooth Fairy? Jungle Boat? What's the one that he's with on that's a Disney movie?
No.
It's with Emily Blunt.
Oh no,
it's like okay.
Someone's gonna tell us.
Or is it Rampage where he's fighting
Steven Black Adam's an actor. Black Adam is a great actor.
And I never saw the movie, but I know there's all the controversy that he tried to take over that franchise, got shut down. Now magically he's in WWE trying to call shots. It's like he must go run XFL, get out of my wrestling. But we'll see.
I'll be back. So let's open up. We do have one other topic, but with everything going on, let's open it up. We want to hear from you. Chamber is tomorrow. What are you all thinking?
Like, what's going to be your match, your spot? Like, I told Nick, I think Tiffy is going to do her, her moonsault off one of the, I think people are doing moonsaults off the Chamber. I think something is going to happen. I know, again, Tiffy has a great moonsault. I think Logan Paul's going to do something stupid. KO always seems to do something crazy. Always has senton or somebody's going to do something.
Yeah. Who do you think will do, like we talked earlier about, not Jade, I almost said Jade, Bianca or Raquel doing some power spot. Does Tiffany Stratton do a moonsault off the top of the Chamber? Or some sort of not monkey flip, but climbing the walls of the Chamber and does it maybe on that onto, it would be so dangerous, but onto the grate, that would be kind of crazy. But
yeah.
There's you have a couple of really athletic women on the women's side, and then same thing with the men's side. You have a couple. I hate to use the word. Old Matt Hardy, spot junkie. Spot monkey. Sorry. Well, I say spot. I'm a spot junkie, but
I think it became monkey once the Young Bucks.
But you got Logan Paul, you got KO.
Someone's gonna do a swanton off something or doing a moonsault off somewhere. Again, I think it's gonna be because really besides KO, they're all pretty. LA Knight does that big jump, that Pat McAfee did. We jump and you're on the top rope and you do the thing. So
yeah, he could do that. He could do that. LA Knight's impressive.
Lashley's big, but he's also pretty agile. I think it's gonna be I think Randy's gonna be in a pod. I hope Randy comes out last.
Lashley's one of those guys that he's big and he's jacked as hell, but I always never think he's as big as he is. I don't know why. He always just I don't know if they just put him in feuds with Omos and Braun Strowman and these guys and
or he had that thing with Bronson Reed, and I feel bad Bronson Reed's not.
But he always looks he never looked like the monster that he is. He's just like crazy. He's like the biggest, the smallest big man ever.
Also thinking when again watching the press conference, I thought it was again. Maybe I don't recognize when they're actually like on TV or in a match. Like Rhea was she was wearing high top Chucks, and Nia was in thick heel boots. And it just looked so weird that Nia looked, and maybe that was a point, but Nia looked so much bigger than Rhea. But I'm like, Rhea's not tiny. Like, Rhea's a big girl too. Like not Nia big, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just thought it was like weird that they had her, like, she was in Converses and then she was in these high boots. And then sort of same with Becky, Bianca, Tiffy, then they were all in Monster.
The old Undertaker deal. They used to, because then they used to do it with Undertaker, where they used to put him in a little bit more like platforms, but then also his opponents, they would do it and like do the same thing to make them look like 10 times bigger than him. Like, yeah, he always like, but you didn't need to do that. You didn't need to do that with Giant Gonzalez. He was like 7'10".
But I just thought it was
great. The great Giant Gonzalez. That's right. There has been a Giant Gonzalez mention in this show.
2024 is wild, my kids.
I can't a bit. There we go. That looks a little better. But yeah. So let's open it up. We got some calls. We have, I think we know who this is, but who knows? It could be anybody. The 5 a.m. sleeper. What are you thinking? What are you drinking?
It can't be anybody. Come on.
Steven!
Bye. Hello, folks. How are you?
Welcome in.
5 a.m.
Welcome back.
Oh, no. 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you doing at 5 a.m.? Come on. You know there's nothing better than opening up some eggs. Just order yourself a nice breakfast sandwich. That's what we're going to get. A nice breakfast sandwich, a nice bagel cream cheese, right? You get yourself a coffee. I'm not a coffee person, but you get yourself a coffee. I'm going to get some juice, right? And you just sit back from 5 to 8 a.m. ish.
No,
and you just watch some hopefully awesome wrestling going on. And then start your whole weekend.
This is Jersey. You forgot to mention the Taylor ham, egg, and cheese.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's a given here in this environment.
Yeah.
But you never know. For our global listeners in Australia, what are they having then? Well, it'll be nighttime.
Well, it's like 6 o'clock their time, so they're drinking, shoeies. That was the weirdest thing I've ever seen. They poured a beer in a shoe and drank it.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
That was the end of the thing that like Grayson Waller and Rhea poured beer into literally took it off their foot, poured a beer in it, and drank it. Like,
does that mean your shoe's got to be ruined then, right? Like, hold on.
But no,
we have hold on. Ooh, that's not good. We have a shoe over here. Here we go.
That's more of a Das Boot than
Das Boot.
Well,
this one though is from Fort Worth, Texas, though. But
maybe one day when you take me to Australia, we can get a shoe.
Is that the one where? And just like in Beer Fest, right? You have to turn it so that it doesn't bubble up on you if you're trying to chug it.
It's aggressive.
That's what I learned from movies.
Anyway, let's bring it back. Steven, what are you thinking?
What am I thinking? Well, let's see. I mean, you've got 5 matches plus the interview segment. I don't think the Rhea Nia match is going to be a squash. They have to fill some time. They really want to give Rhea a chance to bask in it in front of her hometown crowd. I think it's going to go at least 10 minutes. Nia's been doing, very good work lately, actually. I don't think they'd fly anybody all the way out just for like a 90-second match.
I beg to differ.
They did it to Natty on her birthday.
Goldberg flew everywhere. And even though he's going to potentially be stricken from the record books, Brock Lesnar did 90-second matches everywhere. So, and the greatest of all time of all squash matches, the Ultimate Warrior, the greatest, the GOAT. He would just run down to the ring. His entrance was longer than his matches. That's a true legend.
He squashed Andre in 8 seconds, I think, in one match at the Garden.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was on. Well, all right. That'd be a good one.
It was on.
That's a good. You want to fact check?
Garden
Someone
match.
needs to fact check them.
But they did fly Natty to Saudi Arabia to lose in a squash on her birthday to Rhea. I think obviously Natty's and Nia are very different levels, but
Natty's a true pro.
Yeah.
So, do you? All right. Here's a good question for you, Steven. Do you think, since you brought up the Nia match, do you think she gets the riptide? Do you think? Well, I'll rephrase that. Do you think the riptide is performed well, or do you think it's more of a, I don't want to say botch, but more of a botch? Because let's be honest, like Rhea Strong, it's tough to do that move, and that move's got a lot of motion in it. And I don't care who you are, like even some of the smaller female wrestlers, it's tough to do that move. So it'd be interesting to see if she could get her. Do you think she can get her above her shoulders or up to her?
Yeah, I think it's going to be slow getting her up there, but I think Rhea pulls off the move. Yeah.
That would be interesting. It reminds me of, shameless plug for this channel, but which we'll say it again. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like, comment below, all that fun stuff. But we have an interview actually on this channel with Ryback. Formerly he was Ryback, formerly Skip Sheffield. But
oh gosh, really?
Before WrestleMania 29, I interviewed Ryback, and it was his match with Mark Henry that I remember very vividly. And it's, of all things, we were discussing leading up to that at the time, actually. WrestleViews, one of WrestleViews commenters, Mike Tedesco, and I were talking about whether or not, at the time, Ryback had his finisher, which I guess it still is, the shell shock. And if he could get a 400-pound Mark Henry up to do the shell shock, and it just reminds me of the same thing. Like, I think less strain on your body, but like the shell shock was like a lot of trap work, and he got Mark Henry up and like seamlessly did the shell shock at the end of WrestleMania. It was one of the big moments that year. So it's interesting. Yeah. Like, I guess that, I don't know. That's just a question I thought about, as we go through, like, Nikki hates Nia. Nikki is not a Nia fan. And, will she botch another move?
No, I don't think. I don't think so. I think it'll be slower because doing it on a larger person. But yeah, I think the move gets done and no botch. But I've been wrong before.
So on the men's side, what are you thinking? I know you've been a big Drew McIntyre fan.
Yeah, he's been doing great lately. I don't see how it isn't Drew. I mean, Logan Paul's going to defend his title in a separate match, and he'll probably be against Owens at this point. LA Knight, I think they're leaning towards Styles with him, so it's not going to be him. Randy, not a clue. Lashley, maybe his group against Karrion Kross. I don't know. I don't see that as a WrestleMania match really, but I don't see how it isn't Drew. He's really the only one with the storyline against Seth going in.
Right, and that's a fair point. It's interesting. I completely forgot and blanked on the AJ Styles stuff with LA Knight. So that could be one. You raise a great, like, that could be one of the ways that LA Knight gets eliminated from this match, and to my and to my chagrin, because that would make me happy to keep him away from the Logan Paul U.S. title as a consolation prize. Excuse me.
Right. And then I think the one match where they don't go chalk is going to be the women's match. And I think what's going to happen is, and especially now after I read earlier today, because SmackDown tonight is pre-taped. So I saw,
right.
So especially tonight, 50-50 booking and all that. I really think that Rhea's going to come out and screw Becky Lynch out of the victory, actually in the middle of the match, and have Becky Lynch eliminated. And then the winner is going to be Liv, continuing that storyline, because they're gearing her straight at Rhea Ripley. So I think you're going to have the triple threat.
Agreed.
Because Becky's gonna get in that match. She's gonna come out Monday, say she was screwed. I want to be part of that match, and Pierce will or let her be part of the match, and then you'll have the three. But I think that's the one where you have the surprise, especially since so many people are thinking it's going to be Becky anyway.
I often wonder how different this would have been booked if Charlotte was around and healthy. Like, would that have made, how much of a difference would that have made having another built-in main eventer, main event talent and when I say that, I mean that if you put Charlotte in a match with anybody, it's viewed as she's a high profile. She's how many time champion now? Like 10 times?
I think she's 13, 14. She's close to Rick, or she beat Rick, or she's on par close to Rick. But rumor is that she was going to go after Io. That if she was going to be in the SmackDown, or her and Bayley would have been in the thing, but she would have been with Io, not with Rick.
But it's just another, another like Becky's the type of person that I think, again, built-in main event match. There's some people that once you get to a point where you've won the world championship multiple times, every match that you do becomes a main event. In theory, if you're good, there's few people that it's like that, but Seth Rollins becomes one of them. Right offhand that I think about that. No matter who you put him in with, he's your guy. And I think Cody Rhodes, even without the belt, is getting to that point. I think he wins the belt even just once. He's still even after he inevitably drops the world title, he's gonna be right in that feud. That everything that he's done has been great in a main event caliber feud. So, but anyway, I digress. I took us off on a tangent there. Steve, last thoughts. What's your last feelings on The Rock? Is he turning on the bloodline? Do you believe the conspiracies, or do you think it's just all to get us as a red herring? Red herring.
Yeah, I find it pretty neat that they're leaving all these Easter eggs, and a couple of them to me are plain as day. But maybe that's because I was thinking that was going to happen the whole time. And I forget if Rock's on the taping tonight or not. I know they taped it before they left for Australia, but yeah, there'll be more along the way.
Interesting.
Sure.
So gun to your head right now on February 23rd. Yes or no, is Rock turning?
Yes.
He says yes. Steve has spoken. Steve, great call as always, but you, sir, are cut off. All right. Well, we have a few more hours. We'll probably cut this one off short because, again, we're back here tomorrow at 12 noon. So make sure.
Talk all things Chamber.
Everything Chamber. All things wrestling, really. But
predictions down below.
Yeah, let us know. Again, as always, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. We want to hear from you. We want more people to join us. This is all an inclusive environment. As always, we love you all. We appreciate you all. Sorry, I'm babbling a little bit. Anyway, any last thoughts? That's what I want to say. Any last thoughts for SmackDown's pre-taped, so I feel like anything we say we might get a little judged.
The road to WrestleMania goes through Perth and the Elimination Chamber.
Fair enough. I will say Logan Paul is a bigger draw. It's a bigger reaction than LA Knight, and I will stick with that.
We're gonna wrap this up so I can beat up in the parking lot.
So, until next time, you don't have to go home.
But you can stay here. Bye.